All right, good morning. Hello and welcome to week of Linux and system administration and security, right? So that's what we're going to do for this bit this morning. I'm going to help you to install CentOS onto whatever desktop or laptop, whatever you call, yeah? At the end of this session, you're able to install Linux, any top Linux CentOS very much. So we start from there, okay? First, I allocate my image already. I have that image 32 bits in here. That's my folder. Yep. So if you don't have that folder, what do? If you are at home or overseas or whatever area that you don't have the image, or you want to get the newer version, right? I'll show you get the newer version. Uh, where you may get the newer version of CentOS if you wish to. So that's mirror one in Australia. It gets faster if you go from this website and go to version 10. At the moment we use version 9, okay? Version 10 you can get from there, and make sure don't get OS, yeah? Get ISO, yeah? There we go. For this morning we do 32 bits, not 64, okay? But normally on the market they run as such, or either way. So we do that, make things faster, and you need only one OS only. That the one you need. Okay, one up to start with. It's around 4 gig. All right, you download that. It's making faster, and then you have that image just in no time. Okay, so that way you get the image already. Yeah. But if you're not in Australia, then you may go into Centos.org and start from there. Okay, and click on download. Get CentOS, whatever they get the different version. Okay, that's CentOS what you original get. All right, there when you allocate your image, next one will be I'm going to create the VMware player for the very first image. Yeah. So now I'm going to get my VMware player run. New image, yeah, new template. New template there. And then I do have a look more option, right? I don't do 1, 2, but I do number 3. I will install the OS later. Okay, Linux, what option here? There are too many options. Start with letter C. Is any C there? Anyone say send? Okay, I do 32, right? It makes no difference in this template for now. And then I do CentOS 5.9 test. Okay, the most important here, the location. You need to make where don't put in your template. At the moment, it's under my username. So make sure that don't put it there. Put somewhere that you believe that you're going to use later. And you might copy them later to other location. Don't put in username. Anyone know why? Anyone know why? Because every time you log in, if you keep the current default location, right? Every time you log on your user account, it takes maybe a lot longer than you expect, because I hold whatever 10 gig on that profile. So you make your machine just slow, but actually it's not slow. Your machine just fast, but you just not really well into arranging your data. It's not your machine's not slow, okay? So I make a new folder. I make anywhere. It's not under the home profile will be alright. Anywhere that you think is not under your home profile. Now I make under what is it? My virtual folder, and then I make the new folder. So that my new image will be going there. So C drive, virtual machine, and the folder. The new installation will be in that location. So if you want to have this location copied to your external hard drive, go ahead do so, right? Next, 20 gig for our learning is good enough, but it depends. Better make a split, alright? Better make a split. Because if you make a single hard drive, then you might not able to copy to your USB if your USB is fast. Yeah? Because file system only 2096. 2096. Yeah, 2098, yeah, 2096 megabyte. So you cannot copy. But if you make a multiple file, you can go to 2 gig, 2 gig, 2 gig to your USB. That one like 10 gig, you can't copy to your USB because one single file. Does that make sense? So it depends how you choose it. But if you have external hard drive, go whatever option that you wish to be faster. Go ahead, Thomas.
We use external hard drive, so we don't count USB.
For my recommendation, go for multiple.
Faster.
Second one should be faster, and somehow you can recover it faster as well if it damaged. If it damaged. Right, so now I'm going next and then finish it. So what I just done there is to create a template, all right, a template in VMware. Next step, mount the USB into your VM and then run. Next step now, CentOS there. Click on edit, yeah, edit. Depends how much RAM that I have. At the moment, I'm not sure how much RAM I have. At the moment, I got 4 gig of RAM, right? Available 1.5 gigabyte. But because my CentOS, I don't need that much, so I make around 700 megabyte because I just run the templates. We're just learning. We don't do any server here. So make under 1 gigabyte is more than enough for our Linux, right? So now I'm going to modify the RAM. Modify the RAM. The RAM there I make is 800. Okay? Should be got number 2 there. How many CPU you want? There's a 16 CPU in here at the moment. But I don't need that much. I need just one CPU. It's good enough for now to start with. But if you have more than one CPU, you have i5, i7, go ahead, make it. Okay? But not more than 4 out of 32 bits. So I'll leave it what it is. I don't select any option here. The hard drive, I'm happy with that. And net. Here someone have the issue at home, right? If you want to have your OS, either Linux or Windows, run as virtual machine, have a static IP address, or have a direct IP address, and the same as your host OS, then to bridge it. Yeah. But if you want to have a net OS, which is your new OS installed into VM environment, have different IP address with your host OS, then to net. Okay, so make sure I go with that. So I make some other computer can see my virtual machine as an independent OS. You follow? So I choose as a bridge. But if I don't want anyone see me on the network, even I have the virtual machine, I can see people can't see me, then I'm going for net. It depends what you want to design, yeah? Okay, now I do a bridge. Sorry?
Next section of bridge, the replicate physical network.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't replace it, please. Okay, and CD-ROM. Now I need the CD-ROM. The CD-ROM here, that way you're going to mount. Number 3 here. You're going to mount an OS, right? Then remember, choose ISO and get the location, right? The location of my will be in ISO and then here. So you know where your ISO located after downloaded. Okay, that's very much done for my installation. I'm sorry, done for my selecting. Okay, very much done, and then start it up. Your Linux to start with the installation. You can do exactly like as at home if you used to. This video I capture, I'm not skip any part, so it's made a little bit long, okay? Right after the session, I expect everyone in here able to install for me in this today class. All I'm going here, so that you have option here. See the option there? I could not click the mouse on here for some reason. Seems to be my keyboard is being disabled for some reason. When you see that screen, hit enter, right? When you see that screen, hit enter, and we go through. You don't need to tap any option at all as beginner. So I'm not captured that video before. Now his what happened? Okay, now I can go here, people. When you see that screen there, the first time, please hit enter. Make your life easy, right? But if you want to do any other advanced option in the server end, you might go there and go on all the option here. But here, make it simple, hit enter. Okay, at this point here, at this point, do not hit OK. If you hit OK, it might take you around half an hour. So don't waste your time, right? The reason we don't hit OK that I believe right? I believe my image download is not interrupted. All right, if your image has been interrupted, then go and test it. But I just believe it's not to save time for now. But I have checked my image is not corrupted. All right, welcome to Centos GUI installation, right? At this point, go for next. Happy with that language? Let it go, yeah. And keyboard is all right with that. You see this option, you might a little bit panic, right? But make sure that's only 20 gigabyte that you select, not your entirely hard drive. Okay, so don't you worry. Read them carefully and of course say yes. You say no, it won't let you go anywhere. All right, by default, leave it by default, right? Remove all the partition there. Select the top option. Remove all partition on selected drive and create new by default layout. All right, simple? Very simple. Next, are you happy with that? Go ahead, do so, yeah? Say yes. All right. If anyone here asks, you might do static IP address, but for us now, we all of us have a DHCP server on the network already, so let them get the IP dynamically, yeah? I think I'm here. So click on that, get there, Sydney time, New South Wales, and the password, type it in, and don't tell me what it is. Okay, now we go into the most important bit here, that important bit. And this bit is the most important and save your massive time later on. And if you don't do it right, later on you have to update one by one. Example, PHP, web server, Tomcat, Java, Python, Perl, all those kind, yeah? So what I'm going to do here for this installation, all I do, just that, and file server, okay? Any other option I can do later, okay? So I know what I want already, so you have to click on this option, right? Customize now, yeah? Don't worry any of this, don't worry about that, click on it now. Go next, installation, remember, remove this option. In application, right here, application, click on application, click on, where was that? Remove that. If you don't, then you need to waste another 45 minutes because around 1.3 gigabyte to download, like it's similar like Microsoft Access, Excel, PowerPoint presentation, although, you know, processing. It took around 1.3 gigabytes, so it took around 45 minutes. So it takes a lot of time. So because we just learn a Linux only, we don't do the desktop installation, yeah? GUI, anything else, don't like it, it's alright, remove them, right? And remain everything. And if you want Java based, click on the option, yeah? Java. For this option, click on that, remove dial up, Java, don't worry, system, select other option. So that's it. Don't remove this. If you remove this, you don't have a GUI in your Linux later. Okay, you can do it later and forget about that later. Genome is alright. Development here. You need to get that to get your Python in, right? And this option as well. You don't get this option, you don't have C++, per Python and other tool. Remember, in development, get that option down and get that option down. And anyone good in Ruby, then go ahead with that. Language, I'm happy with that. Server, I'm going to get DNS, legacy, mail, SQL, and I need to get one more, right? I don't need the printer. I get the printer off. Shamba, okay, that's Shamba, and file server, Apache. Server configuration, select them. So at this video, you might get a DNS server, legacy, MySQL, database server, configuration on the web, Apache, or you can click on here, option. You can go on here, option. If you want to remove any of this, take them out if you want to, okay? Remember, there is an option button there. That's very much for me. Virtualization, if you want to support your Windows, go for Zen server, but I don't want them, okay? And if you want to support Citrix, then go for Zen. It depends what there is a virtualization as well. But version 7, they have more intensive on that. So I repeat, you have to go this video very slowly from here, there, this two don't need to. Desktop, keep what it is, and development there, 1, 2, and server you select based on this option. Okay? So that's the most important for your installation. If you're not, then do it later. Next, and now the time for installation, that's it. So I will tell you, if you do on the real server, it might take around, if you do it fast, right, 15 minutes. If you have a fast CPU, a fast computer. But because it's virtual machine, so it takes around 20 or 25 minutes. But it's not that long because I really customize it. I can tell you how long it takes. Just try this option. So at this point, let them run, and then at the end they finish, and then you reboot the computer and go into the step number 5. Okay. At the end of this installation, hit reboot, yeah, and then go to step number 5. We'll show you just in a moment. All right. So let them run. That should tell me how many minutes just in a moment, I believe. So at this point, wait, yeah, until it's reboot, and then I'll show you that screen just in a moment. 10 minutes remain. Yep, 10 minutes remain. All right, I'm about to finish installation. What I'm going to do now is reboot, right? And then after reboot, I'm going to step number 5. The step number 5. After number 5, I do 6 and I do 7. It's done, yeah? Lost. So now this is the first time, very first time. For the first time put up, right? So now I'm going to click next all the way. Welcome, go next, right? To start with that service is good enough. Any other service I don't believe that you need for now, or you might turn on web if you want to. Before, by default, I leave what it is, all right? I don't touch any of this, yeah? You can turn them on later on, okay? Like mail server, FTP, NFS, you can turn it on later, but I'll show you do turn it on another one later. But what you need now is SSH, remote access. You need to enable this one, right? Because if you turn it off there, your Linux very much half down, no security. There is some, but it's not really fully security. For the information, you can visit SE Linux. Sometimes some people say turn it off completely. Yes, for good for beginner, but it's bad practice for beginner as well. So I'll leave with it. Don't enable this if you're on virtual machine, but if you enable that in the real life, if you have a message of RAM, it will take your actual memory. Tom, leave it there. User, I don't create username at all. Go next. Continue, right? No cell, no application, finish them. So what is the username here, people? By default, right? ROOT, that default, my password. So now I'm in. So what I just done now is number 6, right? Sorry, number 5. Now I'm got the number 6. The reason is I'm going to do number 6 is for our class, and because you are on a virtual machine environment, so every time you boot up, it goes direct into GUI, yeah? Which is I don't wanna. But if you're happy with that option, then keep it what it is. But I recommend it because you're under virtual machine, it takes a lot of time to go into GUI. So better switch from GUI to the text mode by default. That's what I'm doing. But if you can undo or skip this step if you want to, yeah? So now I'm going to go here, update that available for update already. If you have at home, accessory, right? I just send the right click, send to the panel. So I have that terminal here. What I need is a terminal, right? So nano edit, tabs, and then you can find out what it is later on today. I'll make them become 3. Yeah, we've done in week 1 already. 3 full user mode at the moment by number 5. But if you're not happy with this, you can put it back number 5. And every time you put it up, it goes direct into GUI. Save them, Control O. You happy with that? Enter. To get out here, Control X. Yep. So what I'm going to do now? Reboot, yeah? So after reboot, I'm done my Linux installation. You haven't customized anything yet, so leave it what it is. In the meantime, it reboot. I'm going to do number 7, right? So example, at the moment, I'm using window here. This is my window. I'm going to get my Putty down. That's my Putty. Anyone know where to get this Putty? Search on Google. Yeah, of course. This is for window only, right? Get from first link and download this guy. Okay? Not that. Okay, get the first one. Download it and make sure get the right version, right? So when I have it, run them. So I have here already. So first, what I need is get the IP address, SSH by default, and then save the new name. So now I'm going back to my CentOS. Hopefully they got to be finished. So that now we in Linux text mode by default. That's number 3. Okay, now question here. If you have anything on the browser that I said last week, example here, example that one, right? Right click in here, and then can you copy in here? You cannot copy, right? So you have to pass it to remote control. That's one thing. Second is if your Linux is somewhere else, not with you, somewhere another country. So all you need to have is your SSH, right? I don't think I have localhost. All you need to have is SSH, right? Enable SSH, yeah? And then get the IP address of your Linux. Get the IP address there. So how to get the IP address on Linux? And there we go. That's the IP address, the first interface. Not the LO, right? The loop back. Don't do anything with the loop back. By default, the loop back on up and run. And you get the IP address there. Yep. So now I'm going to remote control this machine. So the IP address is 10.6.5.2.1.7. Then I'm save them, right? That's a session. So I can revisit this session later. Yeah? I don't have to type the IP address every single time. So now click on that and then click open. This is the very first time you need to have a fingerprint. That fingerprint, that's a fingerprint. Say yes. I'm logging from remote. Alright, I'm logging to the remote. You can change the setting if you want to. Make it appearance, make it bigger. Or you can change the color to system color. And you have that color. So now you log in from here. That's it, my Windows computer, that from. Number of user, you log in username is root. Log in here and what you're doing, number of CPU, there we go. So now you can copy there. Example, I'm going to copy Centos Putty, right? I copy here. I'm going to, I can't paste in here, but I can paste in here. There we go. That's how you do the scripting in week number 3. Good. So now that's it for me, and hope you be all right for our Linux installation and all of this option there. And for Mac, if anyone have Mac, okay, if anyone have Mac, all you got to do, example, this is the Mac, right? You go on the terminal Mac, yeah? Mac, all you got to do, example, you are in Mac now, right? Okay, /l root and then the host IP address. And more option for SSH in Mac. So L is the username, right? And then you get whatever username and your Mac, your Linux OS IP address. That's how you do in Mac. So if you have Mac even quicker, you don't have to set up anything. And by default, Mac is Unix already, so you have most of option there. Okay, so that's it for me for this very first second week capture. All right, best of luck. Bye for now.